Today we are going to discuss basics of structured programming development, right? So the first one is the introduction to C programming, right? So actually C programming is a general purpose, and then we call the procedural programming, and then this is belong to imperative programming styles, right? So actually there are two programming paradigms, right? So declarative and imperative, right? So this imperative computer programming language, right? So this is developed in 1972 by this Dennis M. Rich at the Bell laboratories, right? So actually this is developed. Actually this is developed to develop a Unix operating system, right? That means the Unix operating system is written by C programming language, right? So and this is the most widely used in computer uh, uh, programming, right? So among modern software programmers as well as the beginners, right? So, and then C was invented to write operating system called Unix, as I said earlier. And then the language was formalized in 1988 by American National Standard Institute, so we call ANSI. And then the Unix OS was totally written in C programming language, right? So have you heard about there is an operating system called Unix? Have you heard that? Okay. And then the today most popular Linux OS and then some relational databases like MySQL have been written in a C programming language, right? Okay, so why to learn C programming? So actually this is easy to learn, and then this is structured programming language, and then it produce efficient programs, right? And then it can handle low level activities, right? Like hardware programming, right? And it can be compiled on a variety of computer platforms, right? So that means we can compile or we can run this C programming, say, in Linux environment as well as Windows environment. That's why we call this is a various, right? So we can use this C programming in a various type of computer platforms, right? So computer platform means the hardware with operating system, right? So there are a lot of applications of C programming, right? The main one is operating system. The next one is language compilers, and then assemblers, and then text editors, some print spoolers, right? So network drivers, right? And then databases, right? So language interpreters, right? So likewise, there are so many applications in uh, C programming language, right? Okay, then the C environment setup is there are two software tools should be required. The first one is text editor, right? Actually, text editor, once if you have say Notepad or say Notepad plus plus, or if it is Linux, there is a text editor called VI or VIM, right? So we need a text editor, and then the C compiler. Right, so there are various type of C compilers, right? So GCC compiler, GNC compiler, and then TCC compilers, right? So likewise, there are various type of compilers are there, right? So in our course, we use GCC compilers, right? GCC compiler, right? So we use a DUC++, right? So even C++ tool, we can use, we can do the C programming as well, right? So in DUC++, we have a GCC compiler, right? So in DUC++, we don't need a text editor because within the div C++ software, there is a text editor, right? So both text editor and compiler is integrated within the div C++ tool, right? So then no need to use the text editor, additional text editor. So once if you download div C++, we can use text editing as well as compiling, right? So both tools are there, right? So this is how C program is working, right? So once if you write source code, what you have to do, you have to compile it, right? So within the compilation, this check the syntax error, right? And then when you run it, right? So that compiled code link with the object code and then executed by the computer processor, right? So I'll explain again, right? So first of all, you have to write the source code, then you have to compile it, right? So when you compile it, it will be converted into the machine codes, right? So after the compile it, right? So we can run it, right? So when we execute or when you run the compile code, it will be linking with the object files and executed by the processor or CPU, right? So this is how C works, right? So this is a source code, right? So this is source code. Actually, the source code file should be saved as a using .c file extension. .c file extension. You know what is meant by file extension in HTML when you develop the web pages, right? So we use a .htm or HTML file extension, right? So in here we have to use the .c file extension. So that's the source code. The source code has to be compiled using the C compiler. As I told you earlier, we in here we use GCC compiler, all right? So using the C compiler, we have to compile it. Then it will be converted into the machine code like this. You know what's meant by machine code, right? So machine code is collection of binary numbers, right? So here, after compiling it, you will have a compiled code. Then we can execute that compiled code, right? Then the source code should be saved with C.C file extension. Okay, that's it. And then the C program basically consists of the following parts, right? So first one is preprocessor commands. Next one, functions, variables, statement and expressions, comments, and all those things are including within the C programs, right? So let's take a example, then you will realize the those components, right? So this is the basic program in C, right? So this is called a preprocessor command, right? Preprocessor command. Actually, within this command, right? So using this command, tell to the C compiler to include this particular file. This is called header file, right? So in this statement, ask to a compiler to include this header file, right? So in topmost of lines, right? So at the beginning of the program, we have to mention what are the header files that we are using within the program. What are the header files that we are using within the program, right? So within the header file, there are set of commands, right? Set of functions, right? So all those are including within the header files, right? So once if you use particular function or particular command, we have to use the relevant header file, right? So this is a standard input output header file. STD means standard input output. So if you want to take input from the user, and then if you want to output any message to the screen, you have to use this standard input output header file, right? So here it's a stdio. IO means I means input, O means output. .h means this is the file extension for the header file. So this is standard input output header file. So header files should be mentioned within this less than and greater than sign, like in HTML tabs, right? So how to import this header file? There's a keyword called hash include. Include. We have to include it, right? So this is followed by the hash symbol, hash include, and then this is the main function. Main function. So this is called main function. So this is the point where the program start to execute, right? So here it's a program execution begins, right? So this is the beginning point or the starting point of the programming, right? So this is the starting point of the program, right? So we call this is the starting function, or we call this is drive method, drive function, right? So here we use the command called int. I'll explain that until later, right? So this is main function, right? So if it is a function, so this is also keyword main, and then if it is a function, you have to use this open and close round bracket, right? So this is the starting line of the main function. This is a red color curly bracket, and then this is the closing the function, right? So here we call this is one particular block. This is one particular block, right? So here this is one particular block. So this is main block, We call this is block, right? So inside the block, we can have a commands, right? So in here, the actually using this program, what I'm going to do, I'm going to output a message, right? So in order to output the message, or if you want to print a message, there's a command called printf, printf, right? Printf. Actually, this is function, right? So this is the printing function, right? So this is the printing function. This function is available inside this header file, right? So this is standard output function. So this function is available in this standard input output header file. So that's why in here I use this printf function. Here I use the printf function within my program. So therefore I have to include this header file. So that's why I include this header file in my program. All right. So within the print function, so this is here I'm going to output the message, right? So if you want to output message, you have to mention that you have to put your output message within double quotation, right? So in here I'm going to output the message. So that message should be within the double quotation symbol. Here you can see hello world, right? Hello world should be within the double quotation mark, right? And then so here I close the printf function by using the round bracket, and here I mentioned this is the end of my printf function. So this is the end of my statement, right? So every statement should be end up with semicolon, right? So here this is not the statement, this is not the statement. So this is a statement, this statement. Therefore, statement should be end up with semicolon, right? So that is one particular rule in C programming, right? So every statement should be end up with semicolon. Every statement or expression. So this is a statement. We'll see what is the expression in later. So every expression or statement should be end up with semicolon, right? So at the end of this function, I return 0, right? That means I return the 0 value from this function, right? So this is also a statement. Therefore, we have to put semicolon at the end of this statement, right? So here I return 0. Therefore, the return type of this function is int, because in here I return integer value, that is 0. If you return character in here, you have to use the relevant data type in here. We will see what's meant by data type in later, right? And then especially in here, actually I leave that statement, right? I skip that statement. So this is called comment. Comment means actually this this statement is ignored by the compiler. So when you run the program, this statement is ignored by the compiler. Usually comment is included within this / asterisk symbol, and then this is the end of the comment. Usually comments are used to explain what we are going to do within the program, right? So this is for helping line, right? So this is help for the program, right? Okay, so this is the printf function, and I told you that there is library function. So this function is available within the standard input output header file, right? So display the, so this is used for displaying message, right? So in here we display message called hello world, and then here I use in additionally /n. Actually here /n means go to the next line. After this message in here I mentioned go to the next line, go to the next line. And then here I return the this is the termination point or termination line of the main function. Here they return the value 0, and then here I end up the main function. So this is the ending point of the block, right? So here ending point of the main function. This is the starting point of the main function. Okay, so that's all about this first program, right? So let's see how to write this in our software, right? So first of all, you have to open the Dev C++ tool and then type this source code, save using the hello.c, and you can compile it and then run the source code. Then you will realize this output, right? Have you got this? Did you understand this? Hello? Did you understand? Now shall I demonstrate it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll demonstrate it. Before that, there are some theory parts, right? So actually we have discussed that parts, right? So there's a concept called token in C. Token. Actually, a token is either a keyword, an identifier, constant. All those are called token. Token, right? And then semicolon. As I told earlier, semicolon is statement terminator. That is, semicolon indicate this statement is terminate or end, right? So that is each individual statement must be end up with semicolon, right? Semicolon represent that statement is end or terminate, right? It indicates end of the logical entry. It indicates end of the statement, right? So like this, yeah. So this is end of this statement. So this is end of this statement. Likewise, semicolon represent end of the statement. In other words, every statement should be end up with semicolon, right? So that's about the semicolon. And then comments, we use comments, right? Comments are like helping text in your C program, right? So actually comments are ignored by the compiler. Compiler doesn't consider the comments, right? So once if you use this forward slash and the asterisk symbol, and then asterisk symbol with the forward slash. So within here, we can put our comment, right? So we can put some descriptions about the statements or about the program, right? Like this. So this is my first program, right? So you cannot have comments within the comments, right? So they do not occur within the starting or character literals, right? So that's about the comment, right? Okay, so let's see how to write the source code in our software, right? Okay, then I open the Tube C++ software, right? So once if you install it, you know how to open it, right? So double click on this icon, then it will be open, right? Okay, okay, just wait a minute, right? Okay, I'll okay, now can you see this software? Do you see ++?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this is how we use this, right? Go to file, new, and then go to source file. Then you will have this kind of file. Then first of all, you have to save this, right? Go to file, save as, right? So in my case, I create testing programs, right? I create a new folder. So this is my first program. So I use the file name called say hello.c, right? So in here, I put say hello.c. So this is my file extension. .c is file extension. Can you see this? Hello? Can you see
Yes,
this?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is how we set the file. So this is how we set the file name, save. Then once if you put that file, once if you set the file name here, that file name.
Hello.
Hello. So this is hello.c. That's my file name, right? Okay. Then the first statement. First statement is import the header files. How can we import the header file? Put the hash symbol. Then there's a keyword called include. And then put space, and within the open and close, open the less than symbol, and then close the greater than symbol. Then you have to mention the header file. So within this program, I'm going to use the header file called standard input output header file. So this is the file name, stdio.h. And then I start the main function, int main. right? So if it is the function, you have to put open and close round brackets. So in this tool, once if you open the bracket, it will be automatically take the closing bracket as well. Then we have to start the main function, actually main function block. Then how can we open the main function block? Open curly bracket. So once if you put open curly bracket, right? So it automatically it will take the close curly bracket as well, right? So here actually they consider this one as pair. So once if you open the round bracket, it will be automatically take the closing round bracket as well, right? Like that, right? So in here, the first one is if I want, I can put comment, right? So this is my first program like that. So this is my first program, and then you have to close the comment, asterisk, back a / right? Okay. Then I'm going to print the message. Print F. And then open round bracket. Then have you seen that? It will be automatic. The closing round bracket is automatically taken. Right? Then within double quotation. So in here also. So once if you put one quotation, it will be automatically take the next quotation as well. Right? So all are taken as pair. Right? Pair. Right? And then here we can put the message. Hello. Right? So this is statement. Therefore, statement should be end up with semicolon. Right? And then termination statement, return 0. This statement should be end up with semicolon. So this is my source code, right? So in here, after that, we can save it, file, save, or you can use Control S. Now, my source code is okay, right? So as I explained in my presentation, so this is my source code, right? This is my source code, right? So how to compile it? Go to execute, and then in here, there is an option under this execute menu, there is an option called compile. Compile. Or you can have a keyboard shortcut, that is F9. Right now, I use this menu, right? Then I compile it. Then if there are any errors, it will be mentioned in here, right? Since there are no errors, right? It's this is compilation results, right? Can you see this? So these are the compilation results, right? So error 0, warning 0. Then they take they convert my source code into the compilation code, hello.exe. You know, exe is executable file, right? My file is .hello.c. That is my source code. Then by using the C compiler, they convert my file into the hello.exe file. That is executable file. Now I can execute my file. Go to execute, and then there's an option called run. There's an option called run. Or keyboard shortcut is F10. By using this option, I can execute. Okay, now you can see the output, right? Have you seen that? Hello world. Here. Hello world. Have you seen this? Did you see this output? Hello? Did you see the output? Okay, so in here, I'll explain again, right? So in here I import the header file. So this is how we import the header file. So there is a keyword called include. Hash
sir, your voice not clear, sir.
Right now, can you hear me? Right now, is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so in here, I'm going to include one header file, right? So because of within my program, I am going to use function called printf. Printf means output file, output function, right? So printf used to output message, right? So that function is available within this standard input output header file. So this is library function. So this is library function. So this is header file. Library function means that is available So that is available in a header file, right? Have you got it? Did you understand it? This printf is available within the
Yes, sir.
standard input output header file. So therefore, within this program, I have to import this header file, or we call include the header file. So this is how we include the header file. Hash include, keep space, then within the open and close symbols, right? So open, so within the less than and greater than sign, we have to import, we have to mention the what is the header file that we are going to include. So in here, header file is stdio.h header file. Is it okay? Is it okay? Have you got it? Line number 1. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Then next one is starting function. Starting function of the
Yes.
program. Starting function. So this is starting function. So this is the point where start the execute the program. That is main function, or we call main method, right? So this is how we use the main method, int space main, right? So this is the function. This is how we mention the function main, and then here there is no input argument to the function. So therefore this is empty, open and close round bracket. So this is called return type, right? So actually at the end of this program, I'm going to return 0. So therefore 0 is integer. Therefore here I put int. That's why I put int in here. And then this is the main the block. This is the block of main function. That block is represented by open and close curly bracket, right? Open and close curly bracket. So within this block, I can mention a number of statements. I can put number of statements. The first statement of my program is comment. Comment is description of my program, right? So that is helping for the programmers or users, right? So this is how we put comment. What you call that / asterisk and then asterisk /. So within here we can mention the comment. And then here I use the printf function. So this is for output message, printf, open bracket and close round bracket, right? And then within open and close. So this is printf function, right? This is for output message, right? So message should be within double quotation, right? Message should be within double quotation. Is it okay? Is it okay?
So your screen is not
working.
Right now?
We can't see, sir.
Right now, can you see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Right now?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay, sir.
No?
It's okay, sir.
Okay. So did you understand this line number 5? Here I use printf function to output message, right? Within double quotation, I can put the message, hello world. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is semicolon. Semicolon represent this is end of the statement, right? Is it okay? Is it okay? Semicolon
Yes,
means end of the statement. Okay. So and then line number 6 is here I return 0. This is the termination line of the function. This is termination line of the main function, right? Termination line, because here I return number 0. Is it okay? Okay, right now, can you hear me?
The voice not clear, sir.
So your voice was clear, sir.
Right now? Now is it okay? Now is it
Sir,
okay?
voice not clear, sir.
Now can you hear me?
Is it okay, sir?
Yes or no? Right now,
Okay,
I
sir.
think
Yes,
voice is okay.
but when you are explaining,
Yes.
Hello?
yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now okay, sir.
Okay. Did you understand the line number 6?
Now it is okay, sir. But when you are explaining the sixth line,
Yeah, actually now in line number 6.